Yo, what's up? It's your boy DJ L7. As you know, I interview activists from all over, from different backgrounds, stuff like that. And actually, I have a very interesting guest on today, but I'm gonna let her introduce herself. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Heather Berman, and I've been in show business for 40 years, really. Started working professionally when I was 16. And I've been in pretty much the major unions, Actors Equity. I was a Rockette, so I was a member of AGVA, and I'm a member of SAG-AFTRA.
Cool. All right. So, actually, this is an activist channel focusing on people that have different, causes they're working on. What got you involved with this whole activist stuff?
Well, when the pandemic hit, I knew there was something off. So I got busy kind of researching through a lot of the holistic doctors that I already followed. And then through them, I found more. And some friends were sending me some stuff as well. And the thing is that I am injured from the tetanus vaccine 6 years ago. So when they started talking about vaccines, I knew that we were going to be up against something really abominable. Um, yeah, I'm injured and I have MS from the tetanus vaccine. So I knew, yeah, it was going to be rough. So I got on the streets with a woman who was running against Holloman, who's a senator in my district.
Okay.
And he was responsible with some others in New York for repealing the religious exemption for school children. So 26,000 families left the schools and homeschooled in 2019. So I started helping her run and got on the streets with her. And then I also, around that same time, which was June of 2020, I contacted Pam Popper, who started Make Americans Free Again, and was actually just curious if I could help her with her business. And she said, well, I'm going to be launching Make Americans Free Again in a week. I need people to recruit people to join. So I was on the ground floor of NY Stands Up, which is the chapter for Make Americans Free Again in New York. So that was like from the beginning.
Okay.
So we've been launching lawsuits for that. And then I got on the streets with people in New York. And pretty soon I was speaking about the unions and how people can't work and all of the mandates. And the mandates continue. SAG-AFTRA is still tripling down, and the mandates go apparently through the end of January. We have no idea what they're going to do after that, but it's ridiculous. And of course, it's all the film TV unions. It's Broadway, it's Lincoln Center, it's off Broadway. I mean, it goes so far deep into the entertainment business.
One thing that we talked about a little bit before the program was actually you have a lot of back, stage access to see what goes on behind the scenes and how the media is manipulated and how the entertainment industry is involved. And I was really fascinated to learn more about that. I think that's something that a lot of my viewers need to learn about, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, Project Mockingbird. So if you notice that a lot of the stars and influencers, even models or influencers, people on social media, um, the government basically had a program where they would contact these people and offer them money to promote the vaccine because the vaccine, it's not a vaccine. I won't get into the details of the science, but it's not a vaccine. It's EUA. It's not FDA approved, so they can't do commercials. So the commercials are people of influence, people in show business, people, rappers, you name it. I mean, you saw it on, the late night shows. They were doing dancing and singing about this injection. I mean, it really was dystopian.
Okay, interesting. And wow, that's just too crazy. There's
I mean, I literally just saw an Olympic, I think he's a medalist, ice skater
yeah.
promoting it to get your booster.
Now,
And these people have thousands upon thousands of followers. So they're still doing these partnerships with people of influence and paying them to do it.
What kind of compensation do these people receive for, promoting these
I
vaccines?
couldn't tell you. I mean, obviously
Okay.
each one would have a different contract. Yeah.
Okay. Do they put calls out, or do they just kind of like they just get
They
through
write
the
to
agent?
people. They probably call and write to people. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you think right now, as in terms of the?
There's some information I posted on my Instagram about it a few
Okay.
weeks ago. So if you look on my Instagram, you'll find some actual papers and letters that we found
Cool.
documenting it.
You said you're working with a union right now.
No,
Okay.
I'm a union member, so I'm working with my colleagues
Okay.
to try to end the mandates.
Would you say they're generally helpful as in terms of like addressing this issue?
No,
No.
no, because they're the ones that started the return to work agreement. The return to work agreement was put together by SAG-AFTRA, and then the other unions that are involved with film and TV, they agreed with it. And so when they vote, the board members vote to keep continuing it, even though it's unlawful and illegal to be doing so.
So is there some kind of like maybe like a resistance movement or like a separate
Yeah, there's
organization
a
or a
large group
faction?
of us. We meet
Okay.
all the time and we write letters and there's different lawsuits taking place right now. You have some prominent people suing Disney that were fired. There's a soap star, there's another actor that was working for Disney. There's
Okay.
even office workers that, because there's a lot of support staff that happen, with film and TV as well,
Yeah.
and the actual offices have been closed. So SAG-AFTRA offices in LA, Miami, Atlanta have been closed all this time.
What do you
They
think?
say they're going to
Yeah.
open in January, but we'll see what happens. We don't know.
So what do you think is the most effective thing that people who are sympathetic to your cause could do to help you out?
Don't support. If
Okay.
you're paying for Netflix and cable and HBO and all of these companies that still thousands of people cannot work. You go to Broadway, you're supporting Broadway that is keeping out top Broadway performers and stars from working. That means tours, that means Broadway, that means Lincoln Center, that means the ballet, that means all of them. Every single institution, opera, can't work
There's
unless you're injected and boosted. So if you're a SAG after their return to work, and mind you, this is children, 5 and up. And now you just saw recently that what is it now? 6 months to 4 years they've now approved.
well, I think they put it on the schedule now, right? They're trying to make it mandatory for
Well, it's
everybody.
not on the schedule yet, but
But
yeah,
they're
that's what
they're
they're going to
pl-
try to
they're planning
do.
on. I think they did it in California or something. They're close. I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
think they're
not
too
sure
far off.
exactly, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's what they would like to do. So now that they've approved it for that age category, imagine babies. Really? This is what we need? We don't need it. Nobody needs it.
The thing is that, right? If you take a look at the vaccine, right? I think there was a study that said, and they openly said that this was for profit, and I think that they're estimating that it costs about $500 per vaccine. Now they're going to say, oh, the vaccine we got it for cost, blah blah blah. What about the cost of servicing administration? They getting a hefty fee for that. I heard it was $500 per shot, and if they're getting $5 per shot, you could give that in 3 minutes. That's like $10,000 an hour. There's so much money, right? Like, and if they have to give that a $500 shot to everybody in the United States, that's an incredible amount of money to just swipe off the top. You know what I mean? Just take that out of their tax or something.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
could make a new one
everything's
every year.
money.
They could start to make a new one every
Everything's money,
year.
but it's also
Yeah.
control. So, it's not just about the vaccine. It's, surveillance, it's control, it's the social
Exactly.
credit score,
So one of the
like
things
they do in
that I suffer with in my industry, actually, this Saturday things are going to get hot, right? With my Assange stuff. I don't even know if you know about that, but there's a lot of astroturfing. There's so much money involved. They absolutely will hire someone else to come in and be, controlled opposition, I guess you could say. Have you had any experiences with that type of thing going on?
Oh yeah, there's definitely that going on. That goes on in every organization.
So how do people recognize, right, people that are really authentic about, like, because a lot of people are there to suck in the money and then do questionable work, if any work at all, right? Like, oh yeah,
Yeah, of
donate
course.
here
I
to this
mean,
cause, and
we have to
yeah,
use discernment. If you
okay,
see things questionable and your ears go up, pay attention because, usually that's a sign. That happened, it's happened to me. I've seen it. And what happens is you keep getting more and more signs until you kind of go, something's not right about this,
well, our
right?
schools deliberately teach, us, not just our children but adults as well, not to question things, just to buy into the science, whatever. It's like a religion, right? They just, whatever they say is science, right? Science is actually, that's real science, is true, is your own observation, not just buying whatever. That's actually, science was created as an opposition to something called rationalism, which was a bunch of people sitting around saying this is the way things are. They're like, no, we want to actually experiment and see for ourselves. That's true
Yeah,
science.
you
So
have to question
yeah,
everything. It's never settled because
okay,
number one, it changes and you have to question everything and you have to prove it. Science, you have to prove.
yeah,
You don't prove faith. You don't prove that you believe in God.
yeah,
It's faith. It's completely different, but you prove
yeah.
science. However, humans haven't been using their
I mean,
sixth
vaccines could be
sense.
good or bad, right? For people to just say vaccines are some kind of panacea cure-all, you know what I mean? Isn't it
Of
possible that some
course, how
vaccines
can
might
it
be
be?
better
We're
than
all different.
others, and
No,
some,
no
yeah,
medicine is right for everybody. Even supplements,
yeah,
even any kind of thing that you are introducing into your body. People go, take this, all this. Well, what if you're only 110 pounds like I am?
just because it's a
You
vaccine
know,
doesn't mean it's safe. I mean, that's doesn't mean it's
or
bad either,
anything.
or
I
bad
mean,
either, right? Yeah, it just
the
doesn't. Yeah,
difference
right.
is that
Yeah.
vaccines can kill and pharma can kill, whereas homeopathy has never killed anybody. That's the difference, right?
Well, well, okay. There's
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Even some supplements, if you take too much, could be toxic to your body or the wrong one.
Okay.
But it ain't going to probably kill you. It's not going to kill you. But can chemicals kill you? Yes, chemicals can kill you. And they
Okay.
do. And people are dying left and right. We see it in the news every day. So
Okay.
that's the difference.
What are some of the most effective things that you think activists can do?
Speak out, stand
Okay.
up. I mean, to me, if you're standing, I believe in God. You stand with God, you stand with the truth, speak the truth,
Okay.
try to, keep speaking the truth. And
Okay.
if you comply, you can't, there's a lot of people with fake cards for whatever reason, in my industry and all the industries. I mean, you're dancing with the devil
Yeah,
and
that's true.
you can't win that way.
Yeah. Okay, so it's cool that you come from a dancer and actress background. You may have other dancers and actresses that you look to for inspiration, who may have influenced your style, something like that, right? As in terms of activism, is there anybody who's kind of like inspirational to you or influences your style of activism?
Nobody
Anything like that?
influences my style. I'm just me, but there
Okay.
are people that I looked to at the beginning who were just so powerfully not afraid to put out their information. JP Sears is one of them.
Okay.
What's her face up in Canada? I think her name's Gracefully something. She does a lot of like kind of in-depth deep dives. Mel K was one of the people I started listening to early on. She was an actress. She was in Hollywood for years. So I started following her early on as well. She does a lot of deep dives with a lot of different topics.
Okay.
So, yeah, people that are really brave and not afraid. And I love Dr. Northrup. She cracks me up. She's funny and poignant and on the money.
There's a lot of
There's
new
so
names
many
there.
people.
I'll try to put some of those names in the chat when maybe I'll get some links from, Heather later on. We'll see. I appreciate that. Now, the thing is that also, we also asked some organizational questions. We had some experience, like, trying to get your change through SAG-AFTRA. You had some experience, right, with other organizations outside of SAG-AFTRA. How do you realize when an organization really has your interests at heart, and what do you feel are like the best practices for organizations like SAG-AFTRA, right? If you made some suggestions, what I mean, like
Oh,
how they
we've
could
made
listen to
lots
people
of
better.
suggestions.
So, go
Yeah,
ahead.
we've been fighting this now for a while. I mean, I was speaking out, right away, and then we kind of found each other across the country. a lot of people didn't know each other. Now I know all these people in California. There's an organization called Hollywood for Freedom. I found Tatum and his wife online. They're in LA. So they're kind of like they created an organization just grassroots in LA, like the new Hollywood, So I think they're just now doing a little bit of fundraising, and their whole angle is really just to create the new Hollywood, create new projects, instead of having to rely on the old people, the old guard, is to try to, build a whole new system, which is kind of where I am now too. Collecting people that understand that we have to have medical freedom. We've even had some groups in New York where there are people who are injected, but they still believe in freedom. So it's really important to bring them in too, or people that were coerced and took it. And now, they're not feeling well, and they don't believe in medical mandates. So it's
Yeah.
important to bring all of those people in. And so that's kind of what we're doing now is to create that new group while still standing up. And everybody kind of has their part. We have different board members that are kind of helping us with SAG after to like organize and send the right letters. And, there was just a big LA meeting where a lot of them were there. And, Fran Drescher was on the meeting and Duncan Crabtree Ireland, who was the executive director. So, they've gotten lots of letters and lots of stuff from us. So they know how we feel, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's still going to be a fight. It's not going to be a one and done because we know that this is much more than just a vaccine. It's complete control. And that's
Yeah.
what a lot of people don't understand still.
There's a lot of money behind it. Yeah.
It's under the guise of a virus. It was to take over and to collapse the middle class and collapse small businesses and completely control people.
Okay. What do you think are the best ways to actually, get actual change on these policies?
You just have, lots of people are doing lawsuits, get involved with different organizations. Anybody that's in New York, go to NY Stands Up. It's MAFA, MAFA dash NY, nystandsup.com.
Well,
And you
sure.
donate $5,
Yep. Okay. If I could share with you actually a solution that I'm working on, actually I don't get donations, which is hopefully you could change that, but it's all good. I don't expect any. So the fact is that I'm working on a program called Rep My Block. Now the thing is that one thing that Rep My Block actually is trying to do is take over county committee, which actually is necessary, which the actually county committee appoints the judges. A lot of times, right, when you go to the ruling, right, you take it to court, the judge is going to rule whether the law holds or doesn't hold, and is often the last line of defense. Now the thing is that you can see the flyers that I hand out, right? I'm not I'm not running for anything. Okay, look, I'll find that later. Yeah, I'm not running for office. I'm not asking to believe in me. I'm asking to believe in yourself. Look, the fact of the matter is that I'm not going to have the same perspective or the same priorities as you do. It's just a fact. On this thing we agree on, but not on everything. That's why you have to be on your county committee. There's like 5,000 seats in New York, right? You could basically almost just walk in, yeah, and just get involved and actually be able to control the judges that are going to make these decisions. So I hope that you could get down with that program as well, right? Yeah, we can donate a lot of money to these funds, but that's actually, I'm going this Saturday to protest an organizer who was found to just be spending the money on themselves. That's why I'm saying don't trust me. Don't trust any
Oh,
candidate, right? Trust yourself.
you're
Nick
protesting
Brana.
somebody. Wait, I'm sorry?
Yeah, I actually led a coalition of Yang Gang Tulsi's community and also something called Movement for People's Party and Our Revolution to Schumer's doorstep, fighting for different progressive ideals. And, the leadership of that organization ended up stealing money from the volunteers. Not only that, but there was actually a sexual assault claim against him where half of his appointed board, appointed by him, resigned. So he's actually supposed to speak this Saturday at the British consulate. So I'm going there to protest that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of other business going on. Actually, Roger Waters is supposed to be there from Pink Floyd, which is gonna be interesting. You should come by.
Hmm.
Yeah, if you want. Yeah. He's
When,
kind of rough about fans though. He just like I'm here for this thing. He doesn't really give out autographs. He's been kind of rough, but
Well, I
whatever.
don't bother people for autographs.
Hey, you know what? I'm just telling you how he is. Yeah, so don't expect
Okay.
anything. Yeah,
That wouldn't be something I would be interested in. But
that's cool. All right. Well, he
yeah,
gives him quite
remember
the
I've
brush
been
off.
on
So
many sets. I've been in show business my whole life. I don't look to actors for the answers. I don't look to
good.
celebrities for the answers. I think everybody has to stand up. This is not about some celebrity or politician being your savior. It's about humanity standing up for the truth, for God, and for this country, to save this country. Everybody is looking at us. People come here for freedom. Look what's happening in Brazil, what's happening in China, what's happening all over the world.
How can you guys change the leadership at SAG-AFTRA to like better represent your needs? Is there an election coming up
Well,
or something?
yeah, yeah, it's going to be coming up soon. So, yeah, we're organizing and trying to get people to understand, you know, all of that. Definitely.
Honestly, there's a lot of people on the grassroots that, other organizations that could use your help. And I'll be sending you some information about some other projects I'm working on, such as public housing. There's 20,000 registered Democrats in public housing alone. That could be a very strong. They're actually saying that they got to get vaccines to
What?
access their
No.
housing benefits. Yeah, there's a lot of other. There
That
was a lot of high pressure on them to get vaccinated. Remember, they're making $500 a shot. So that's
Well, I
why.
understand there's pressure,
Yeah,
but they can't tell people they have to get a vaccine just because
there's a
they're in public
lot of
housing.
there's a lot of money in this. $10,000 an
Well, I
hour
understand,
technically.
but I don't think that has happened yet. So I would, yeah, I
Well,
mean,
guess what? They're about to go on the schedule. They're already in California about to give the shots mandatory to every child. And
yeah, I
it's
understand
basically
that.
almost
And that's what
experimental, isn't it? An experimental vaccine to every child. This is happening now. They did it at a lot
yeah,
of colleges too. Why wouldn't they
they
can't go
are,
too far with
yes,
this crap. They cannot go too far. You know them. There's no limit for them.
correct. But I mean, you can't, I mean, yes, the people
Yeah.
in public housing do need to understand who to vote for and not to vote for. Um,
We can work together to
and
take over the judgeship.
anywhere, all
Yeah.
of New York, not just public housing, for God's sake,
Yeah.
so, it's a matter of education, but it's also people don't understand. People are sleeping. They're in the matrix. They do not understand that this really has nothing to do with the virus and never did. And to wake people up, even educated people, there are people I know for years and years.
Let me
They're fast asleep.
If I could share with you a trap that Asian men fell into. The fact of the matter is that, right, we've been dominating academics for 40 years, but we're America's cuck. Why? Because we did not pay attention to our political education. You see what I mean? They say knowledge is power. It's not the same. Knowledge without the power to leverage that knowledge is meaningless. You must have the power. So right now, the thing is that a lot of kids go to school. They say, I don't know how to change my government. You see the things I'm telling about county committee. County committee also controls 1/3 of all elected city candidates. And let me tell you how they work this scam. Let's suppose I'm a corrupt governor and you're my corrupt lieutenant governor. Actually, this happened with Hochul, right? They literally put her in. So the thing is that, right, before my term is up, I leave office, I resign for any reason. Now, instead of there being a primary, right, yeah, the county committee selects one for a special election. And how many people vote in the special election? It's very machine controlled. And that way, by the time Hochul comes around, right, yeah, she's already been sitting on a year in office where she's had time to make the relationships and, you know, the NGOs are all backing her. You get what I mean? And this is actually 1/3 of all elected officials are backdoored through this process. That's county committee. Yeah, and they don't talk about this in the schools or on the TV because only you benefit from knowing this information, not Coke, not Pepsi. So you're right about the political education, right? Yeah, but we got less money, more time, and more knowledge, yeah, and more action. And I'm with you, yeah, for real.
Yeah, I mean, there's a million things they don't
Dion's,
teach in
yeah,
school. They don't teach you about finance. I mean, that
yeah,
should be like from grade one to learn about that and investing. But they don't teach
yeah. They teach
so
you to
that
act. They
you
don't
can
teach you to sell
be
your acting. You're right.
what? I'm sorry.
They teach you to act. They don't teach you to sell your acting. You know what I mean? How to market yourself, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
They just teach you how to act. That's
yes.
it. That's what acting school does a lot of
Correct.
times.
You
Yeah.
have to be really proactive because that's a huge problem with the art schools. They don't teach you the marketing, the business,
Yeah. But
So
that's why
you
you go to
kind of
school
have
to
to
get a job.
learn the hard way. You have to learn on your own or the hard way, which is, yeah, it's a huge disservice. Huge.
Yeah, it's a scam, almost. Yeah,
And it's also a problem why so many artists fell for this, because they kind of live their life like this instead of seeing the bigger picture in life
they're exploitable.
and to question things. So you have to remember when you grow up in this business, especially really the fine arts, to become a ballerina, to become a top musician, to, Lincoln Center, I mean, to be at that level, you have to kind of be like that. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, people they don't look outside of their little circle. Also, they kind of feel, especially in New York, they feel a little bit, like they know everything. They know more than the rest of the country. There's a lot of ego here.
yeah. Well, results matter. So, those who are in pain will feel the urgency and will make the move. You get what I mean? So,
This
you're
is
feeling the,
humanity.
yeah. So look for the people that's, out there making the moves, and let the people who want to sit down sit down. They're gonna get what they deserve. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. So, we
All right.
just, I mean, also, don't forget, look, evil's been around since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And the lesson learned is you have to try to find joy in your life regardless. Keep fighting, be an activist, do what you need to do. But when you
Absolutely.
find joy, despite evil, you win. We win. This is a psychological, spiritual war.
Okay. So
And
look.
if you live in the dumps every day, guess who won? Devil. Because they want you sad and angry and miserable.
All right. Okay. Either way, yeah. So the thing is that look, a lot of people probably may have heard about your fight, might not have, right? But the thing is that I really applaud your work in terms of getting the labor force of the actors and the fine arts right together. Do you guys have a solidarity? I know sometimes like there's something called Black Trade Workers Union, things like that, where they get together with other groups who might have something in common with. Aren't there people who do like the stagehands and stuff? They also have the actors union. They also have unions. Maybe you guys,
Everybody,
yeah,
yeah, we're all in touch. So
okay.
crew,
Teamsters,
Teamsters,
okay.
the other, there's like quite a few
Is
unions
what about?
involved,
I know Bernie's backing Red Cup Rebellion. Would he maybe back you guys up?
I don't I don't follow what
Yeah,
these politicians
I
are
can.
doing, and do they have any say in what we do? No. Does our union get involved politically? Yeah. You
Okay.
see what's happening in Hollywood. We don't agree with all this crap. And if
Yeah.
you look at the projects being made, you saw what they did on that Disney film where they spelled out "We love Satan" instead of Santa. Well, that was deliberate. And then we just saw what they did with Balenciaga ad. This is all part of the propaganda, the Hollywood, darkness. And of course, within every institution, there's good and bad. So there's great people in Hollywood. There's good people, but there's tons of dark. And, look, I didn't live in Hollywood. I'm not a rapper. I'm not a singer like that. So I wasn't around that.
All right.
I was in theater. I was a Rockette. I did my thing, right? I didn't have to
It has its
encounter all
own
of that.
things. Yeah.
But if you're trying to be a star, or maybe you played around in that sandbox, yeah, you probably encountered some of that evil darkness a lot.
Okay.
I stayed away from things. If it didn't feel right, I just didn't engage.
That's good. That's smart. Okay. Good. So look. People might be interested in following your story, right? You're obviously involved with ongoing activism on this particular subject. You got a social media or anything like where people can stay involved with
Yeah,
your
they
story?
can go to Heather Berman NYC on Instagram. That's where I really post the most.
Okay, I'll try to put that in the
Heather
description.
Berman NYC on Instagram. So yeah, I post, things about my life too. Just, the arts. I just did an event with beautiful dancers, a corporate event. Um,
Okay.
and yeah, I post things that are going on with the industry. Because I was on the streets basically all of 21 pretty much, speaking out for us. And that's how a lot of people found me, which was really good because people need community, and it's growing. The more you speak out, the more people find you, and then they find community. because there's people all over the country in the business, and it's affecting all over. It affects Canada too. I mean, they have their own union, but they're affected. You see what's happening in Canada. It's horrible.
Just
And
this is not a completely related question, but what this new AI thing is actually getting real big right now. This AI like kind of artist replacement type of thing. How
yeah,
you feel about that?
well, a lot of artists don't realize what that means.
I see a lot of
They're
music
just
artists like,
they
yeah,
they
yeah,
they have stars in their eyes, that we're still, believe me, we got groups and we're trying
yeah.
to educate them and they fight back, and it's like they just are, they're in the matrix. They
Until they
don't
get replaced, they don't see
see.
it.
It's so much, they just don't understand.
Yeah,
And they don't want to. They want to double down instead of, when you're willfully ignorant, when someone's trying to show you something to learn.
yeah,
That's what willful ignorance is. We're not here to just put on blinders as humans. We're here to learn. And
yeah,
that means learn things that maybe are uncomfortable or scary. We're all grown-ups. We got to learn this. It's one thing to protect the children. You have to be, if you're trying to wait, make sure your kids are awake, each thing. You don't want to scare them to death. But we're all adults. You got to know the truth. And once you know the truth, yeah, your life is completely different, but I'd rather be awake than in the matrix.
you know
I
what?
mean,
Yeah,
at this point, it's not blue and red pill. It's, are you black pilled? And everybody says now gold pilled. Do you really know everything? None of us probably know everything, but
yeah.
you can go down lots of rabbit holes to learn, because what we've been presented is not the truth. What we've been presented our whole lives is not the truth.
One thing, being an actress, being like around the fine arts stuff like that, you're gonna get into certain rooms that regular people don't get into, right? Like I actually have past experience. I worked thousands of hours in hospitals and actually private doctors' offices as well, so I know some things about the industry that goes on behind those doors, right? But in your industry, right, is there anything else that you could tell us as in terms of, I know you said that they probably make calls to the agents about like doing COVID commercials, stuff like that. But are they?
Not
Yeah.
not a no, not agents. They call people directly.
Oh,
There are a
okay.
lot. If you look, I mean, come on, everybody has seen the stars.
Who makes
Uh,
the
you
calls?
know,
Like the drug companies directly, or?
if you go to my Instagram, I have
Okay.
posted there who what the organization is. It was a government task force. If you just
Oh,
go to my Instagram, you'll find it there.
what other things
I
has that
I
task force worked on?
yeah, you would have to do a little more research on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to look. I posted the one of
Okay,
the
that's cool.
letters.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it was to reach out to
Okay.
get to get this information out. And if you saw all these stars posting about it, and
Sure.
singers and
So
rappers, and they created all these videos and all kinds of propaganda.
yeah, I want to give
It's
my viewers
Project
a rabbit hole to
Mockingbird,
dive into. Yeah.
it goes all the way back to, World War II. They call it Project Mockingbird. It was to use Hollywood. It's a weapon. They're using the entertainment business as a weapon for their dirty deeds, for their, and there's lots and lots of stars that did it, and also forced anybody working with them, right? So you saw that when the Foo Fighters came to open at Madison Square Garden, um, the stage manager died the day before or the day up, dropped dead. And then one of the drummers, right? So they were forced, and the drummer apparently was coerced. I'm sure they all were.
Yeah.
They died. And then now we see Celine Dion is, I don't know, she's saying she has frozen person syndrome. Well, she forced, her whole team, and now she can't work. Apparently, apparently in the news it says she's completely paralyzed
Oh
in a
dang.
wheelchair. So who knows?
Okay.
I mean, and also you don't know what these people took before this thing. Were they taking flu shots? Were they taking other drugs? And then this was like the final, because that's how things can happen sometimes. You saw some people just drop over dead right away. Sometimes it's a buildup.
There's
And
an
then that
industry around these
one
people, like,
thing.
yeah, just like Michael Jackson, the propofol, that like wants to keep them running at any cost necessary, and they become like a product themselves, and their humanity gets treated as
I
secondary
mean, the
to
other thing is we're not
producing.
given informed consent. I wasn't
That too,
given
yeah.
informed consent that day that I was at the urgent care. I hadn't studied vaccines. I don't have children, so I wasn't getting them generally, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know, your body could be just if it's even under the weather or maybe you're thin or
Is MS
anything can
permanent?
send you. Well, I'm trying to heal. I'm using holistics to heal. These other
Okay.
people are probably going to keep going to pharma. I've been doing a variety of different holistic modalities,
Okay.
and I'm still continuing because I believe I can heal.
Best of luck with
I
that.
just do. I believe your body can heal. Now, I don't know about this recent thing, this injection. That's a whole other ballgame. But, our bodies are pretty amazing. So I think it's possible. I don't know what these injured people are trying to do right now, but I know I'm doing all kinds of things, you
Yeah.
know.
Being exercising and stuff, that helps a lot. That
Well,
cause a lot
yeah,
of
I mean, I have
biochemicals
to,
too.
otherwise
Okay.
you'll atrophy. I have to. I love to work out anyway, but I do as much as I can. I'm nowhere near what I was, you
Excellent.
know. I mean, it's a miracle that I'm doing as good as I am doing, but I think that's because of my faith in God and
So,
I pray to get the
yeah.
information. I pray to get
I was just
the
going to ask about the information. The fact of the matter is that, and I'm so glad because honestly, this is a fight that I get involved in a lot. Fighting against celebrity endorsers that validate these people out here that's saying some BS. So you're hip to the game. What are some sources that you go to try to find out the truth? I think you mentioned a couple earlier, but
well, there are doctors that I trust. They've been speaking out about vaccines actually for years. Dr. Tenpenny, Dr. Pulaski, Dr. Northrup, Dr.
okay,
Carrie Madej. Carrie Madej started speaking out uh, during this whole thing. Those people I trust. They're kind of like the dream team,
why?
and because they're just on the money. Dr. Cowan and Dr. Kaufman as well, because they
Okay,
teach you terrain theory. Um,
okay,
this
that's
whole
good to
idea
know.
that you catch a virus. I would do some research into terrain theory with Dr. Cowan and Dr. Kaufman
Okay,
and
so
understand that it's your terrain that gets sick. So all these people are saying they caught COVID when in reality it's your body's immune system was low,
right.
which and also a cold or a flu or a fever is just your body getting rid of toxins. It's getting rid of poison. It's how our body's made. There is really, I mean, I'm not going to talk about scientific things, but Dr. Cowan talks about this whole virus myth.
Okay,
So, you got to do the research and see what resonates with you. And also, I use my own body.
okay,
I
that's.
see how things work. And if you do certain things, what happens? If you eat certain things, if you think certain things, that's poison too. How
I'm
you
around
think.
dance a little bit, so I understand that dancers, their body is like an instrument. It's really like they really know their body very well. They're always listening to it. They
Well,
gotta
not
perform with it
everybody
every day.
does. I do.
That's well, yeah. They gotta
Not
be very
everybody does. But yeah, I mean,
so
generally you're an
respect on that.
athlete, but that doesn't mean that you've
Yeah,
done the study to understand how it works. Maybe, I probably didn't do enough or know enough when I was
but you're
younger.
aware when you're getting better or worse. You're aware, like yeah, because you're using it. What I mean, so you know.
And
Yeah,
yeah, seeking out answers because
yeah,
something isn't maybe you're not, getting past like a plateau. You know what I mean? Like
right.
I know now I'm doing like new things because I was kind of like at a plateau.
There you go. Yeah. So look, just about the end here. So, but people now have your information. What do they have to look forward to? You got anything cool coming up? Maybe a holiday show. I don't know. Maybe some activism stuff coming
No,
up. Anything? You're running
not
for
at the moment.
if you're in Manhattan, you
Not
should
at
run
the
for county
no.
committee. That's in 2023. You're going to meet a lot of the other people that are, movers and shakers trying to make political things happen. And it's just good just to be in the know and to have that possibility of taking over control of the judges. We need to have a critical mass for that, but one drop in the bucket. If we can control that, that's huge.
Yeah, I know that Michael Caine from Teacher's Choice is and probably Children's Self-Defense will probably do something in Albany because of all the different bills that are on the docket.
Oh,
So they'll probably do
absolutely.
something in January in Albany. So I might be going up there to speak. We'll see.
Actually,
Yeah.
last thing I just want to slide in is actually in City Hall, right when the new administration took office, we actually protested every single day from January to February. So when they moved in to take office, right, we were there on day one. So we were the first ones on the docket. So remember, if a new administration takes office and you're the first one there, you can be first in line, kind of. You get what I mean? As they walk in the door. And that's kind of a cool spot where, you kind of get addressed. You get what I mean? Good luck.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Yeah, I look forward to catching up with you later on. We'll stay in touch and see what goes on with this.
Hopefully we can meet in person at one of these things soon.
Yeah, come to Saturday. Oh my God, I need some help with that. That's crazy. I'll send you the video about. I'm making a whole long. I'm sending it to my mailing list too. Yeah. Either way, we'll see. God bless.
Okay,
All right.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Good
Nice
rest
to
of the
meet you.
day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent. The truth must be told.
And if you want the truth, you need to check out independent media producers just like myself, DJ L7. You should subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I release a new video.
Truth of these
We are
words
on all
is
the major
beyond
platforms.
doubt.
That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Unfortunately, we have definitely seen that these mainstream outlets will cave to corporate interests, so we encourage you to join our independently moderated communities of Reddit and Discord. We also encourage you to subscribe to us on BitChute and Daily Motion so you can see the content that YouTube doesn't want us to let you see. Hey, now it's time for the most important part of the video. That's right. It's time for us to tell you about the Taking Action group. Do you need an activist? Or maybe there's no activists around willing to help you with your cause and you need to learn to become an activist. That's exactly why we're here. Every week we get up with people from across the nation, in fact even sometimes internationally, and we develop strategies and a game plan to address the issues that are affecting all of us. Every week myself from New York City and of course my co-host Lisa from Los Angeles provide a coast-to-coast perspective on what's going on in the country. If you want to donate to help out with expenses, travel, equipment, stuff like that, then I definitely appreciate it, and you could hit us off at Venmo or PayPal. Thanks a lot. Hey, by the way, we also have a merch store, so check it out. Oh my goodness, it seems like you've reached the end of the video, so make sure you check out some of our other videos. Make sure you subscribe. This is your last chance to do so thanks a lot. And looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment below if you have any questions or issues you'd like me to address. And if you're an activist, the time to make things happen is now.